Hello, comic fans. Here's Earl Grey, and here's Earl Grey, and here's a part of my comic haul for February 2026. The rest of the books are comics in German translation. I will show off them at the end of the video pretty quick. Let's start with these two books here. Well, they are not English books. They are in German translation, but I guess they are available for you in English translation, and mangas always are of a certain interest. I feel, even not for me usually, but hey, I was in the mood to test out some manga, and these two volumes are pretty good, I have to say. Start with Dragonhead, and with this very cool cover and a very nice cardboard cover, by the way. By Minetaro Mochizuki. Starts with catastrophe, and this train is derailed with a class of students coming back from a field trip, and this is a flashback here. It's a very sinister, dark atmosphere in which this story here takes place, and it's pretty quick, pretty gripping and quick as a manga it is as well. So you can flip through this comic pretty fast. Be that positive or negative, that's for you to decide. And it's a bit, I don't want to give too much away, but somehow a lot of the Flies plot at the end of the world develops here. And for me, with the end of this volume, there was some kind of closure, enough closure for me to say, okay, I will leave it with this book. I read critics about the next volume, and I guess there are 5 of these kind of perfect editions, how they call it in German. Very German title, perfect edition. So I have read a critique that said, volume 2 is by far not as good as volume 1, and the end of the whole series is not as satisfying as one could hope. So yeah, I think 2 arguments more to just leave it with this book, but I'm totally satisfied. It's a really good comic, and I just have to ignore the 1 on this on the spine there. A bit similar it is for me with Z-Man 1. I will leave it with this book here as well, with volume 1, because hey, it has some kind of closure at the end. There are the end of the book relates a bit to the start, to the prologue here, so it has a rounded feel to it. It's a deconstruction of superhero powers again, and it's in many ways not so far away from usual other mangas. So sometimes the art style feels a bit manga generic to me, but the monsters are very cool. There are some amazing pages, but overall not enough for me. It's enough for me to say, hey, this was a good trip. It's a cool journey so far. I feel it's okay. Shall I speak about this fantastic book? Yeah, I guess. So, yeah, why not? Let's speak about the most beautiful book on the table. Darwyn Cooke's The Complete Spirit Connoisseur Edition, based on the works of Will Eisner, of course, published by Scott Dunbier, comes with a beautiful slipcase, and yeah, this makes me think that Rorschach was maybe a bit inspired by Spirit, this is Darwyn Cooke drawing, of course. Scott Dunbier said that the Spirit Connoisseur Edition is thought to be companion piece to Parker. Yes and no. First and foremost, maybe this book is a bit smaller than Parker, and I don't think that it really stands the comparison to Parker. Parker is for me the Martini edition, especially the Martini edition 1, is just an absolute high point in terms of publications of comics, from the paper to the design to everything. So it's almost impossible to compare any comic to this one. So you maybe have to settle in for a bit of a disappointment if you think you will get a book that is as great, as fantastic as this Parker Martini edition. But nevertheless, it is a fantastic comic publication book. Maybe Darwyn Cooke had to find its own rhythm with these spirit stories. Maybe it was just me that my expectations were too high and I had to lower them a bit while reading these stories, and then I enjoyed them thoroughly. It's really a romp of fun, goofy, pulpy adventures with very whimsical, here and there a bit grim. I mean, we're talking about a character that lives beneath a cemetery, but so much wacky stuff happens here. Of course, it's Will Eisner's Spirit, but even if you have never read Will Eisner's Spirit before, this is a good way to make yourself acquainted with this character, because you learn about the origin, about all the certain characteristics of this character and all his friends. He has a pretty small circle of friends and great art. Beautiful, horrifying stuff. It could be, if you don't put it next to Parker, maybe you could put it to next to The Goon by Eric Powell. Would be maybe even more fitting. Good zombie action, guaranteed here. It's it's a spectacle. It's just great. Then there's DC Classics, the Artist Edition by Neal Adams. All the Neal Adams goodness. A fantastic book. It's absolutely great, and very, very likely soon again this print run will be sold out again, and so you have to get your copy, I think. And if you don't believe me, I did a video about this beautiful book, a panellogy episode devoted just alone to this beautiful book, so I don't have to wax any further about this. So I can talk now a bit about the other English books or comics in English language, like there is Love and Rockets number 17 of the 4th season. The title image in connection with something that Jaime allegedly said gave reason to some concerns about the future of our beloved characters. I actually closed my ears and wanted to read it by myself. What's there? What's there brewing? Don't know. So, anyhow, then we have Cul-de-Sac, and this seems to be the conclusion with issue 5 and issue 6. Can't say anything more because these comic books have arrived at Earl Mansion just today. So, but it will be one of the first things that I will read, because Cul-de-Sac was perfect so far, and so I'm pretty sure that it will be perfectly concluded, and I'm pretty sure that I will ache for more after reading the last page. Then Strontium Dog, Search and Destroy. That is these characters are bounty hunters. Among them is Johnny Alpha. He's a mutant. These mutants in this future world are only allowed to work as bounty hunters. They are discriminated. They are, the lower caste of the lowest class in the society. Invented and drawn and written and everything. No, written by John Wagner, but the visuals and everything is by Carlos Ezquerra, who did the same for Judge Dredd. And Judge Dredd is obviously the more famous character, even though Johnny Alpha was obviously more. He liked Johnny Alpha even more than Judge Dredd as a character. So yeah, Carlos Ezquerra pulls no punches here. It's bonkers sci-fi stuff. For the most part, short stories, sometimes spanning over several weeks. A bit repetitive after you read 3 books. You have bit enough of this beautiful sci-fi, beautiful, disturbing, depressing sci-fi world. So for now, it's okay for me. I don't necessarily have more of Strontium Dog, but so far it was a blessing to read these stories. Then I have a new edition of the Cotton Steel Phoenix. It's an adventure by Spy Seal, or with Spy Seal, this cool Seal Tintin character. Published by Floating World. There was a softcover album formatted version before by Image Comics. A bit bigger in format, but overall I have to say, even though this is bigger here, and usually I tend to say the bigger the better, but this is just cool with this Tintin light blue back there and this back cover. It's a perfect homage to these Ligne Claire classics, and the story is nevertheless actually pretty new. James Bondish, espionage, adventure, and very cool presentation of a nicely drawn comic. And hey, it's by Rich Tomaso. I've forgotten to say that guy's name, and Rich Tomaso is always a reason for me to pick up a comic. So, almost through. No, here. A new delivery by Cooke. They had their 18th birthday last year, so now they did a anthology with adult stuff. It's of course not porn or anything, just the usual mix of very adventurous, experimental comics, but some with a bit more adult theme. Highly enjoyable. As most of these mini comics that came with the anthology here, with one, this is great here about communication, very abstract, experimental comic, but I liked it a lot. I mean, if you're not for this artsy-fartsy experimental stuff, probably not for you. But yeah, the other 2 were okay, but hey, this one here a bit annoyed me quite a bit. Confessions of a Nose-Picking Lover, and that's actually is it. This guy here loves to pick his nose, and it's just silly and really. I don't want to read anything about someone who loves to pick his nose. Sorry, it's it's too stupid, even for my taste. And I like different flavors of stupid, but not booger stupid, probably. So, then, beneath the trees where nobody sees, what can I tell you what has not said a million times before? It's about this serial killing bear lady in her little village. She's very friendly and liked and everything, but she has a hobby, killing people, anthropomorphic people, as you see, of course, in the big city. And that's the basic premise. And maybe it was because of my high expectations, because of the high praise that this book got everywhere. It didn't overwhelm me totally. It was a fun read. In all fairness, I have to say, it's a really nicely drawn, entertaining comic. It's just not as fantastic as I thought it would be. But probably when I read it again, this time with a bit lowered expectations, it will hit me a bit more. So, an old comic, which I have quite a knack for, is Alan Moore's and Brian Bolland's The Killing Joke. And the bastards by DC now have printed 2 new facsimile editions, which I have to buy because I have a collection of everything Killing Joke. And it's totally bonkers, I know, and it doesn't make up for good. It doesn't show me in a sane light. But I had to get this foliant shiny edition and the new edition with these how do you call it when the letters, you can touch the letters here. And because you can't touch the letters, I had to get this book. It's silly, I know. Let's move on to Spirit of the Shadows, drawn by Nick Cagnetti. And yeah, I just saw some pages, some panels online. Colorful pages, beautiful pages. I don't know anything about the story, but this is enough colors for me to say, hey, I have to get this comic. At least check one issue out, and I will do so. Now to part 2 of my haul, but I will go through this stack pretty quick, since these are comics that are in German, be it in German translation from English or French, or in German from the get-go, because this cartoonist called Zano is a German. The book is called In a World Surrounded by Enemies and deals with with annoying neighbors that speak literally bullshit, and it's a fun romp, very undergroundy, very wild. Highly recommended if you want to read a comic in German. Savage Dragon is more familiar to you, I figure. So, it's just the German translation of the Eric Larson stories in a cool magazine format. In a similar format, we have Gespenster GmbH, funny, cartoony ghost characters from an old magazine, which was very important in Germany, called Ips. And so this thing here is really has a whole a huge nostalgic factor for German comic fans. So then we have Michel Vaillant in the Collector's Edition 18. There will be 20. The European classic by Jean Graton, race car comics. You love it or you don't love it. I love it. And then Wild Western comics. One album with the history of Billy the Kid pretty close to his real biography, a bit apart from the usual legends. So it tries to showcase the truth, the real truth about Billy the Kid. A bit similar is this series drawn by one La Montagne called Wild West, and plays with historic characters like Calamity Jane, Wild Bill Hickok, and so on, even though taking much more liberties with the historic facts, and it's a more Hollywood-esque version of or spaghetti western downright, and so delivers more fun and less historic truth, so to speak. Highly recommended if you can pick up this in French or whatever language, but I don't think that this is published in English, as I don't think that section R or section A is available in English. This is a Franco-Belgian story that has been published in German magazines before and is now republished, even though a lot of the stuff here has never been published in German before. So I'm very glad that I can read these stories. They play in the world of sports. I mean, those of you who read sports mangas maybe should check it out in French or whatever language you're able to read, if it's not in English, because I don't think, again, that this is available in English. It's really great. Then I wanted to check out this series of Pharaoh, called Pharaoh, by André-Paul Duchâteau, which you may know heard of because he wrote Ricochet in German Rick Master, and drawn by Daniel Hület, who you may have seen or know because of his fantastic horror-esque comic L'État Morbide. And this is early, pulpy, very pulpy comic. Has a bit of feel of TV series, pulp, noir. However, you can't take these characters too serious. It's the very first album, and they really step almost out of nowhere. They don't have some kind of background. They are just there. There's your usual hero, there's your usual villain, so deal with it. And it works. It works perfectly. It's very entertaining, even though pretty shallow, I have to admit. And unfortunately, this is a bit true for Thorgal Saga, Fire and Frost. We have now for a while these Thorgal volumes that accompany the main series, and these are done by other creators. And this is the newest of the bunch, drawn by David Etienne, and I have to say, to keep it short, it is by far the most generic one. Even though it has some fantastic panels like this one here, and really great monsters in a way, but overall it just feels too much opera and too less hard to compete with the Thorgal Saga books that came before. My favorite actually is this here by Robin Recht, written and drawn by Robin Recht. This is story-wise beautiful, and the art is beyond beautiful. And emotionally, he achieves everything, and even the absurd aspects of Thorgal, the myths and all that. It's perfectly used in this book. I highly recommend Adieu Aricia, how it is called in German. Probably it's an almost international title, and probably skip the most recent addition to the series. I hope the next ones will continue with the quality, in terms of quality, with these three, because the others are pretty good as well, especially Wendigo. I liked it a lot, but Shagon was quite solid as well. So I look around and I think I had covered it all. Oof, my brain is drained, as you may can think, because I recorded this video twice. The first version was in German for my German channel, Earl's Waschmaschine. You'll find it there. And yeah, there I'll talk a bit more in length about the comics in German. So yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.